Okay, so I'm at Let's Golf. I'm at base camp today, and we are going to visit the Simple Step series today. One of my last videos was lag. Getting more lag. The big word on the internet, you find it all over YouTube. How do we get more lag? The reason why I want to discuss lag with you today and do it in some simple steps is that the majority of people that I coach in this studio here and the thousands of videos that I've got of the golfer with the handle inside of their right thigh and the club head past the handle and the shaft leaning back. So that is going to deliver the incorrect loft on the golf ball, is going to expose the sole and the leading edge halfway up to the golf ball. Okay, it's going to compromise your ability to flight that ball correctly. Okay, and then all sorts of other issues with the attack angle of the club coming down into the ground and other issues with impact are going to arise because of the handle leaning backwards and no lag of the club head. Right, so the Simple Step series and some game training that you can do to get more lag in your golf swing. So step number one, we need to get some wrist extension and flexion, or in layman's terms, bowing, get more bowing in that left wrist and more cupping in that right wrist, okay? On the downswing, we want to be getting some wrist extension and flexion. So on the downswing, make sure that glove wrist is bowed and that club head is behind the hands and that move is being held into your downswing. So how can you train that at home? So, throwing a frisbee. So practicing throwing a frisbee with both hands. So if you get that cupping action in the right wrist and then turn your body, okay, releasing the frisbee in the direction you want it to go. So if I load that wrist, okay, and then turn my body, okay, and release that wrist later, that's going to mean that I'm going to be able to control that club head the right amount during the impact zone and not have it overtaking the hands, okay? And then you can practice with the left wrist as well. So we get that bowed effect in the left wrist and turn the body through and release that bowed effect, that bowed condition, release that later, okay? So we got the two wrist conditions and just making sure that you release them correctly. So we're loading them and releasing them. Now, before we move on to step two, the optimal position you can get the handle is around that left thigh, okay? Something that I learned from the great Chuck Cook during coach camp with Andrew Rice and a few other top coaches who were over at the Drift over in East Horsley in Surrey. Chuck was saying about getting that handle level with your left thigh as you come into impact. So you may be releasing a little bit of these conditions in the wrist, and then post-impact you may well have released them, okay? But during that moment of truth, we've got to get that handle in front of the head and the head lagging behind, okay? Right, so step number two, we need to get the right motion in the right shoulder, okay? And that's an external rotation of that right shoulder while the elbow starts to work towards your navel, okay? So this action here, and again, that frisbee throw is really good, but you want to be making sure that you've got that ability to rotate your right shoulder externally on the motion of your downswing. So as you make that transition into downswing, that right shoulder is going into external rotation. And you can practice with a rod, just get a garden or a cane, a garden rod or a cane, or some of these fiberglass alignment sticks, and work on that shoulder rotation and elbow alignment to get that correct motion during your transition from backswing into forward swing. Okay? External trail shoulder rotation as the elbow starts to orientate in front of your body, as your body then pivots around to face the target. Okay, so that's step number 2. Step number 3 is activating your pivot. Activating the rotation of both your torso and pelvis, okay? You may have great wrist conditions, you may have a really good right shoulder, right elbow move, but you may have a failing or stalling pivot or body rotation. So how do you get improved rotation, and what can you do at home to practice? Well, we are talking about just twisting on the spot with your weight transitioning to your left side as well. So, a really good drill, and this was explained a little bit and demonstrated by Scott Calks, who was at the coach camp, great coach from over in Canada, who was giving us some speed training and giving us his knowledge on how he gets his players to create more club speed. And a really good drill we had was, get yourself one of these alignment sticks, place it in the ground outside your right foot, bend the stick a little bit, and then using your pivot, turn through to the other side. So you rotate towards where your target would be. So put the stick somewhere parallel with your toe line, and then use your pivot to turn the rod to the other side, target-wise. So, okay? So, good wrist conditions, correct trail, shoulder and elbow move, active pivot action. They're the 3 things that you need to work on to get more club head lag, so that you can generate the correct or optimal condition during impact to make your striking more consistent, more centered, so you can flight the ball how you desire. Hope you enjoyed that tip. Enjoy your golf.